Hi all, this is Anjali and welcome to the channel. So today we are going to start with the Python basics. Like we are going to study what is your Python programming, and we are going to start from the very basics, like what are the essentials of the language which you must know before you start coding in this, right? So when you start coding in any language, first of all, you need to understand that why are you learning a language, right? So Python is a programming language. When we talk about this or any other programming language, we must be very clear about what do you mean by a program, right? Since you are studying a programming language, so you must be very clear with the word program. So program means a set of instructions, a set of steps which are used to solve a particular problem. So if I have to solve a problem, I'm going to give certain steps, right? Like whenever you have to go for a trip, you also ask like, what's the program? What's the program means? Like, where would we go? Are you going to go by taxi or you're going to go by bus? And then where would you stop? Where is the hotel? Where will you go for sightseeing? All that comes under program, right? So program means we have certain steps to accomplish a task. That is a program. Simple. Now in computers, basically it's all revolving around calculations. Like we have to take users input, we have to check some conditions, we have to do some calculations, and eventually we have to give the result. So any program specific to your computers and as well as day-to-day life consists of three parts. We get an input, we process it, and we get an output. So there would be some input, like if you have to go somewhere. So the somewhere thing, like what is the destination, will be the input. And then processing will be to find out the various modes of transport to reach to that place, comparing the pros and cons of each of the methods, like how much fare would be there, how much time will it take, and accordingly we will find the best method, and then we'll tell what is the best way to go there, and that's the output, right? Similar way, if I'm working on a rectangle in calculations, so length and breadth can be the input and processing could get you the area and perimeter of the rectangle, right? So whatever we have, if I have marks of a student as input, I can get output as a grade, like whether the student has got grade A plus, A, B, or C, whatever. So every program goes through these three steps, that is input, process, output. Fine. Lang Any other language, like you learn English, so you learn alphabets. When you learn Hindi, you learn the word mala of that, like ka, kha, ga and all. Similar way, when you learn a programming language, you have a basic syntax, or you can say the basic grammar of the language you have to learn, right? So syntax is the grammar of the language, like how do we write the words, how do we write the sentences in programming to give instructions to the computer. So that is called syntax. And one more thing you have to remember before starting coding is that computer does not understand your programming language. Yes, your computer does not understand Python. Your computer does not understand C or C++ or any other coding language. Computer understands only machine language. So machine language is also called as binary language. So this is the language which your computer understands. So this high level language which we are using, be it Python, C++, Java, whatever, this needs to be translated to machine language before it could be processed by the computer. So if the computer has to process it, if it has to be executed, first it is converted to a binary language and then it is executed. And that thing is done by a translator, which could be a compiler or interpreter. In case of Python, we use an interpreter, right? So remember, Python language uses an interpreter for converting your Python program into machine language and then it is executed. Fine. Now, Python is the easiest language to learn. It has syntax which is very much similar to English. Like if I just have to print my name, so I'll write print and in double quotes, I'll write Anjali Luthra, quotes close, bracket close. Just this line. So I've written print. I start a round bracket. In double quotes, I write Anjali Luthra. I close the bracket. That is it. This is the instruction. If I execute it, it will print Anjali Luthra on the screen, right? So when we learn programming, we have this thing to learn the first program saying hello world program, right? So why do we start with that program? Because that shows you the basic minimum number of instructions you need to write to run a program. In Python, it's just this. Instead of Anjali Luthra, you can write hello world here. So it will print hello world. So basically you write print, you put a round bracket, you put the quotes, write whatever you want inside the quotes, it will be printed on the screen, right? So in Python, just one line is enough. But if you're doing the same thing in C, C++ or Java, it's not enough. You have to write at least 4 to 5 line code to just print hello world on the screen, or just print your name on the screen. So Python is much, much, much easier in comparison to other languages, right? Now, this is how we print something in Python, fine? Then second thing comes as data. You have to store data, you have to work on the data. If I'm saying I have to find area of a rectangle, so I need length and breadth somewhere. So where do we keep the data? So data is kept in variables. Where do we keep the data? In variables. So when I write L is equal to 50, so 50 is my value, that's my data, that will be stored in a variable named L. So this thing on the left hand side is said to be a variable. If I want to store breadth, I write B is equal to 10. I want to calculate area, so I will write L multiplied by B. It's that easy in Python. You want to print the area, you write print A. The value of A, that is 500, will be printed on the screen. As simple, right? This is not the same in case of other languages, but you don't have to bother about other languages. In Python, variables are declared implicitly, or you can say automatically. I don't have to write any separate line to tell Python that L is going to be a variable. I can directly put a value and the variable is created. So the variable is created right at the moment you put a value in it. You don't need any extra statement to tell the interpreter that this is a variable, right? So what is the proper definition of variable? We can say a variable is a named memory location. So what is a variable? It's a named memory location used to store data. So basically our data is stored in RAM, random access memory. So it is going to be stored in RAM, which is your random access memory, and we don't know the memory location. We're going to refer it with the help of a name, right? So with the help of a name, you're going to refer it, and that name could be anything like this. So it's a named memory location used to store data. It can be modified anytime during the execution of the program. So it can be modified anytime during execution of the program. So this is the definition of variable. So I have L as 50, I can change it later in the code. So it can be modified. Variable means it can vary. So that's why it's variable. Now variables can be created automatically like this. And the thing which is same, like 50 is same. It's not going to change. 50 remains 50 only. So this thing is called constant, or technically we call it literal. So constant or literal means the thing which remains same. It does not change. That's constant or literal, right? Now, whatever variable you take, you have to follow some names, some rules for naming them. So I can give them a name. It could be L, it could be LEN, it could be length. So I can give whatever name I want, but I have to take care of certain rules when I have to name a variable. The other thing is the data type. What type of value is being stored in the variable that decides its data type. So data type is like what type of data you're storing. So what possible data types we have majorly used is integer. Integer means numbers without the fractional part. Number without the fractional part. So I don't have any point in this. Like I have 78 minus 23, but I will not have a decimal point in this, right? And it will not start with a 0. You cannot start an integer value with a 0. So we have float or real. So this is number with a fractional part. You must have a fractional part in it. So the dot is important, and obviously only one dot. So it can be 7.5, it could be minus 2.16, anything like that. Or even 8.0. So that will be a float. Simple 8 is an integer. 8.0 is a float, right? Then we have string. String is a collection of characters. When I say collection of characters, it does not mean collection of alphabets only. It means collection of characters. That means it could be single quotes, it could be double quotes, anything. And it could be a collection of ABC, 1, 2, 3, special symbols, like I wrote my name in double quotes. Okay, that is a string. So if I write ABC in single quotes, it's a string. I can also write my address, email address, let's say Anjali at the rate alcoders.co.in. So I'm having at the rate sign, I'm having dot, and if I have, let's say, Anjali123 at the rate alcoders.co.in, so I have a number also, right? So it could be a combination of alphabets, digits, special symbols, and it could be given in single quotes, double quotes. We also use triple quotes with strings that you'll get to know later. Fine. So we have integer, float, string. These are the major data types you have. Other than that, you can take Boolean values, which has only two possible values, true or false. So Python is case sensitive language, means the small and capital case of words matter a lot. So usually we write small letters in Python for the coding, but this true false value has T capital in true, F capital in false. So these are also keywords. So true is a keyword, false is a keyword, and T is capital in false F is capital. Now, what is this keyword thing? So I'll tell you what do we mean by keyword, but before that, let's finish this topic. So we did data types. And the other thing related to variables I was telling you was the rules which you have to take care of while naming the variable. So the rules which you have to take care of while naming the variable are you have to you have to have only alphabets and digits and underscore in the name, right? Other than that, we cannot have any special symbol, any space. So rules for naming a variable in Python. So rules for naming a variable in Python is only alphabets, digits, and underscore. That's a special symbol that can be used. Underscore can be used. And out of this also, the first letter cannot be a digit. So digit can't be at the first place. That means a variable name cannot start with a digit, but there can be digits afterwards. No space, no special symbol can be used. No space, no special symbol can be used in a variable name. So we cannot do that, right? So no space, no special symbol can be used in a variable name. Then keywords cannot be used as variable names. So keywords are the reserved words and it's case sensitive. If you have declared a variable in capital, throughout the code you have to use in capital. It's not possible that I write num is equal to 10 and when I'm printing, I write num. So that's wrong because you declared num with an N capital, but when you're printing, you're writing it all small, it would say that num variable is not defined because it identifies only a num variable with N capital. So it's case sensitive. You have to take care of this thing that if you have used capital letters, you use that only throughout the code. If you have used a variable name in small letters, you have to use accordingly, right? So these rules we have to take care of. And sometimes you can be asked only this thing that tell which of the variable names are valid and which variable names are not valid. For example, if I write total space salary, if I write admission number, cost per unit, my score, then first position, rank 1, right? So out of this total salary is wrong. It is not a valid variable name because it has a space. Admission number, correct. Cost at the rate unit, wrong. At the rate sign is not allowed. My underscore score, correct. First position, wrong because it cannot start with a digit. Rank 1 is correct, right? So these are the valid names or invalid names. Now, if I say that I have to store selling price of a product and I declare a variable or I take a variable like this, now you have to write in comments and tell me whether it's a valid variable name or not. So write down in the comments if it is a valid variable name or not, right? So this was about the rules for naming a variable. And now comes the word keyword. Now keywords are the reserved words. As I told you that Python is not understood by the computer, right? Python has to be converted, it has to be translated to machine language by the interpreter, and then the code is executed. So this translator has a list of words for which it has a predefined set of meaning. Like if this word is written, it means this. If this word is given, it means this. So that list of words which are already defined to the translator are called keywords. Fine. So it is the list of words already defined to the Python interpreter, right? That's said to be keywords. These are also called as reserved words since can't be used for any other purpose. Example of keywords are like if, else, for, while, we did that, true, false, etc. Right? And now if I want to have a variable, let's say I write for is equal to 25. You won't believe, but this is correct. I can have it. Why? Because Python is case sensitive. If f would have been small and I write this, this is wrong. It's not possible because I cannot use keyword as a variable name, right? And all these things together, keywords, literals, variables, all together are called token in a programming language. A token means any small identifiable unit. So if you have something which could be identified separately, that is said to be a token. So we call it a token. So be it a keyword, be it variable, be it a constant value, you can call it a token. So any smallest identifiable unit in the code is called token. Now to use Python, you need to install Python. And for installing, it's very simple. Python is an open source software, right? So, and it's free of cost. You can just go to python.org and download your Python from there, right? As per your operating system, just download the Python thing. Then once it's downloaded, install it. Just keep clicking next, next, next. Your Python will be installed. And then when it is installed, you will open this IDLE, Python IDLE. IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment, right? Integrated development and learning environment. Many people use other tools for working in Python, like you use PyCharm, you use Spider, we have Anaconda, we have Jupyter, right? So these are the various tools which are used to work in Python, but this is the very basic thing. So first you need to install Python. You can work in IDLE itself, but if you need any extra supporting software, so you can use that as well, right? I'm going to show you on IDLE. So I just open IDLE. So ideally, comes in interactive mode. When we write code in Python, we can write it in two ways. One is interactive mode, other is script mode. Today, I'm just going to show you the interactive mode and the variable creation. How do we do that? For example, before variable creation, I can just write a print the so-called hello world program, right? We're getting hello world here. Then if you want to take a variable, you write A is equal to 90, B is equal to 45, C is equal to A plus B, and then I want to print C, so I'm getting 135. Even I can just write anything like this, 90 into 10 plus 50, anything like this, and it will calculate that. So it's the interpreter. The moment I write a line, it's executed. I write another line, it's executed. This is also called as interactive mode. Why do we call it interactive mode? Because it is giving me response right at the time I press enter. So the moment I press enter, I get the result. So this is called interactive mode. The other one is script mode, which we will be discussing in the next class, where we write a set of statements together, we save it as a script, and then we execute it, and then all instructions are executed one after the another. Also, we will do in that, like right now your values are fixed. I'm taking just 90 and 45. I want to take input from the user. I want that my program, because we are the programmers. I'm creating program for someone else. I'm going to sell my software, right? I'm not making it for myself. So I'm going to make a software, I'm going to sell it to someone. So when the other person is going to use the software, my software should ask for some input. So how to take that input, that again we'll be doing in the next class, right? But right now you just have to see like how the ideally looks like, how can you run the commands in interactive mode, fine? So just do this much for today. Download Python, make sure your Python is working properly. In case you find any difficulty, write down in the comments below, and I'll try to solve that issue in the next video so that you can correct it on your side, right? And once it is installed, you can start practicing. So by the next session, make sure that your this much thing is working properly, you're able to open ideally, you're able to write the statements, and they are executing. And then we will be doing how to write basic codes in script mode, right? So that's it for today. There is more behind this variable creation. It's not that simple. There is some technical aspect behind this called identity and all that we will be discussing at a later stage when you have got a good knowledge of basics of Python, right? So right now, just be familiar with the language, make some good repo, just be friends with Python. So just try to be friends with Python so that you can attend the next session and do wonders in it, right? So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take very good care of yourself and take good care of my channel also. So please subscribe, share it with your friends, and like the video if you found it useful. Bye for now. Take care.